As meditation practice continues to develop, what we find is that the distractions of our mind, as we continue to sit more and more, begin to diminish. They begin to fade away more and more. One of the things that we don't often question is why they're there in the first place. Often, as our distractions, as the noise in our mind begins to diminish, we feel great joy, happiness. Wonderful. The mind is becoming more and more quiet. But it's important as we continue to understand what those distractions are doing there in the first place. From the time that we're very young, we experience all kinds of difficulty, discomfort, and suffering. As children, when we skin our knee or when we can't get something that we want, one of the first techniques that we learn of distraction is through the mind. So when we skin our knee, our parents offer us some distraction, whether it's an ice cream cone or whether it's a pretty tree or flowers. Look over here, they say. We learn that very young, and it's a technique that we continue to develop through our lives. Whenever there's something that comes up that's difficult, unpleasant, disturbing, we continue to engage in this practice of distraction so that we can avoid what's uncomfortable. It starts with simple things, physical things, external things. But more and more, we can use thought itself as distraction. We have so many options in our culture, whether it's food, television, internet, sex, drugs, alcohol. There's a million ways that we choose to distract ourselves. So as we continue to practice, what we're doing is engaging in an activity that allows these distractions to drop away. And we become more and more aware of what's taking place in our life in this very moment. At the beginning, when these distractions start to diminish, it's often the case that whatever it was that we're using this distraction to distract ourselves from isn't actually bothering us too much at the present moment. So as the distraction diminishes, we feel relieved. There's a little bit less noise inside of us. But as we continue to practice and as more and more of these distractions begin to dissipate, begin to diminish, begin to drop away, we start to reach a threshold where we begin to soften and let go of distractions which are actually currently engaged in distracting us from difficulties that we're having, from emotions that we're struggling with, from situations which are difficult that are happening right now. What results is that at some point in our practice, it's very common for us to be sitting and for us to feel very strong emotion arising. This can be anger, this can be grief, this can be fear or anxiety. It sometimes comes out of the blue and it can be quite overwhelming. As we're sitting, all of a sudden we have this very strong feeling and it feels absolutely real. There's something that is very important that we deal with because it really makes us angry. Or we'll find tears coming out of our eyes and we're very upset about something and we're not often clear what it is. Or there'll just be this overwhelming sort of anxiety or fear that arises. All this is distraction dissipating. All this is sometimes a storehouse or an abundance of an emotion that we don't like, that we don't want to deal with, finally being exposed through the practice of meditation. This is a natural part of practice, and it's not something that should be avoided, but it is something that we should be powerfully aware of as it begins to arise in practice. We need to be aware of it because it doesn't stop as we stand up and get off of the cushion. If anger arises as we sit, then when we are finished our sitting meditation practice and we go out into our lives and into our relationships, that residual anger is still there. We need to be aware of it so that we're not acting out on it, so that it's not spilling out all over us. One thing to really recognize is that we're not comfortable with emotions arising seemingly out of nowhere. One of the first things that we like to do is look around for the source of the emotion. We like to understand what it is that's causing us to be angry, what it is that's causing us to feel sad or to feel scared. But oftentimes in this practice, what's the origin of the fear, the origin of the difficulty, is in the distant past. These are things that we've experienced some time ago and that we distracted ourselves from actually feeling. We said to ourselves, I'll deal with it later. But whenever we do that, we never really come back to our homes and unpack. We never sit down and say, now is the time to deal with the anger or the fear or the grief that I felt earlier. There's never an appropriate time, it seems. Once we begin to seriously engage in Zen practice, what we'll find is that this moment that we sit on the cushion becomes the later that we've been talking about all of our lives. And all kinds of emotions will come up. All kinds of difficult thought patterns, difficult memories will arise. And we'll want to do something about them. We'll want to change something. We'll want to engage in something. We'll want to find a person to blame. Now, the practice that we engage in, just like with all of the senses, is to be aware what's arising. To be aware of what's arising without indulging in it and without repressing it. When we feel anger, please don't think that anger is somehow misplaced or isn't something we should be feeling while we're doing this great Buddhist practice. When we're sitting, we're engaging in the crucible that burns off all of this distraction, all of this discomfort, all of this difficulty in our lives, and allows us to more and more clearly enter into the present moment, allows us to enter more fully into the activity of our lives without filtering everything through these old emotions. So as we sit and these things arise, there's nothing to do. There's nowhere to go. All we need to do is sit and be present with it. You may be burning in anger, sweating and red-cheeked, huffing and puffing as you sit and do zazen, so angry. But there's nothing to do. All you need to do is sit and experience it. Witness that just as it arises seemingly out of nowhere, it exists for a time. We experience it. It diminishes and passes. And once again, we find ourselves at peace. Grief arises, and we may find tears flowing out of our eyes and our noses running. But there's nothing to do, and there's nowhere to go. We're safe. All we do is allow this emotion to be felt. All we do is allow this emotion to wash over us, to engulf us, without fighting against it, without indulging in it, spinning it up, whipping it up, making it more than it is. Just honestly experiencing what it is that we're feeling as we engage in practice. And what we will witness is that these emotions arise, they exist for a time, and they pass. One of the real benefits of engaging with emotions in this way is that we witness that there is this pattern, that they arise, they exist, and they pass. The lesson is that as we continue to go through our lives and we feel emotions, often we're hesitant to allow them, hesitant to feel fear, hesitant to feel grief or anger, or even the positive emotions, love and joy. We're afraid of them because we think that they're going to exist forever. If I allow this sadness, I will be sad forever. If I allow this anger, I will be angry forever. What we're able to witness through practice is that emotions arise, exist, and pass. They are not to be feared. They are not to be avoided. They are a wonderful part of our lives. They complete us. So as we sit and these emotions pass through, there's nothing to do. There's nowhere else to go. Simply engage in feeling those emotions, witnessing them, experiencing them throughout the body, without being tossed around by them, without being overwhelmed by them. We allow them to pass through, like passing scenery. Just like the metaphor that I used in talking about the practice itself, the waves of our life, these waves of emotion arise and fall. And if we engage in a regular, consistent practice, we find that we're able to keep our heads above water, that we're able to be balanced, consistent, and wise as these emotions pass through. This is the benefit of Zen practice. And as we take it out into our lives and into our relationships, we'll find that we'll be able to more clearly connect, more honestly connect, more immediately connect with each and every person that we meet, with each and every situation that we find ourselves in. So, as you continue practice, be aware of your emotions. Be aware of the things that arise through practice. Talk about them with the people who are in your lives. Let people know that you're engaged in practice and that these things are coming up, that you're feeling angry, that you're feeling sad, that you're feeling scared. And it's not just the negative emotions that arise. Positive emotions arise as well. Joy, love, bliss. And just as dangerous are the positive emotions if we begin to fixate them, if we begin to look for what's causing this upswelling of love, what's causing this upswelling of joy, what's causing this upswelling of bliss. Understand that these emotions are already the content of your heart and mind. They're not coming from without. They are arising from within. And it's a mistake to fixate them to external objects or people. Experience them wholeheartedly. Witness them wholeheartedly. Allow them to arise without resisting them, and allow them to pass without trying to hang on to them.